are now on quarter 3, week 4. Okay, so the topic that we have is the physical changes in terms of the arrangement and motion of atoms and molecules. Objectives of this: at the end of today's lesson, you should be able to, number 1, describe changes occurring in physical change. Number 2, illustrate the particle arrangement of atom after phase change. And number 3, value the physical changes encountered in everyday life. So, as we have last time, okay, so we have discussed the uh, arrangement of particles or the changes that occurs in the phases of matter, and that is physical change. So, stated here, it is a type of change in which only the form or phase of the substance is altered. Meaning to say, so there's no new substance form. It is only the phases. For example, solid turns to liquid, liquid turns to gas, and others. So the chemical composition of a substance that underwent the physical change remains the same before and after the process. So the observed changes in phases of matter are traced to energy. So if we're talking about this, so the different phases of matter change because of the added energy, particularly the heat energy. So solid substance has less energy than the same substance in the liquid phase. So particles in the gas phase have usually more energy than particles of the liquid. So meaning to say that the arrangement of the particles of the phases of matter are related with this. So for example, ice has less energy than the liquid. So, meaning to say, ice is solid, meaning to say that the arrangement of the particles for this are compact, meaning to say they have uh, little spaces between them. Then, ice turns to liquid water. So, liquid now, they are far apart, no, the particles, while water vapor or steam carries more energy, meaning to say that gas carries more energy because they have very far apart particles. Change in the energy of a system can cause the particle to move faster or slower, resulting in changes in the arrangement and attractive forces existing among molecules. So matter changes from one state to another depending on the energy content of the system. Adding or taking away heat energy in matter will allow the different processes involved in phase change. So we have here an illustration that shows the particle model of matter. So as we said earlier, so solid are compact. Okay? So solid turns to liquid. So that means we add energy. And then liquid turns to gas. Okay, so you will notice they have very far apart spaces between them. So that means they add energy. While gas turns to liquid or liquid turns to solid, they remove energy. Because as we said that uh, unti-unti na pong nawawala yung heat na nilagay natin dito. No? So that means they remove energy. Okay? So next is we have the phase changes that absorbs energy. Okay? Okay, so the first one is melting. So solid turns into liquid. So example of this is melting of ice. So as we said earlier, solid are compact. Okay, they have little spaces. So that means an example of this, so solid, example is ice. Then if we add energy, so solid becomes liquid, or the ice turns to water. So that means to say it has a compact arrangement of particles. Then after that, after melting, the arrangement becomes far apart. Okay? So next. So next one is vaporization. So vaporization, or another term that we use here, is evaporation. So liquid turns into gas or vapor. So a good example for this is boiling of water. So liquid, no? So liquid, after boiling of this liquid or water, it turns to gas, or in the form of water vapor. Okay? So liquid, they are far apart, and gas, they are very far apart. Okay? So usually if we have boiling, no, we add energy, so that means it will evaporate, or uh, they have vaporization. Okay, next is sublimation. So solid turns into gas without passing the liquid state. No? So solid turns to gas. So you will notice it doesn't undergo liquid state. Okay? So example of this is mothballs, or the naphthalene balls. So aside from this, we have um, dry ice, or uh, air freshener. Okay, you will notice that it eventually, the solid turns into small particles. No, that means it doesn't undergo the liquid state. Okay, next. So we have condensation. Gas or vapor turns into liquid. Okay, so example of this is pagging a mirror. Okay, so after that, so that means that a pag is a gas. And then after there is a pag, that means it becomes liquid. Okay, next. Freezing. Okay? So, liquid turns into solid. So, for example, another term for freezing is solidification. Okay? So, freezing, that means we use freezer. Okay? So, example is ice candy, or particularly ice. Okay, so liquid or water turns to solid, or it becomes ice after we use freezer or freezing. Okay, so we have lots of example. Okay, we have deposition. Okay, gas or vapor turns into solid. So example for this is frost forms in the leaves. Oh, in here in our country, no, there's no such thing as deposition here, because as we have, so that is in other country that have winter, okay, or snow. Okay, so you will answer learning task 1 in your notebook. Okay, so illustrate the arrangement of molecules in the given example. Okay, so melting, so that should be ice turns to water. Okay, next is vaporization, or the evaporation. So steam from kettle. The next is sublimation. So example for this is dry ice forming smoke. So from the boxes below, you will draw the arrangement of particles or molecules of the given example. Freezing. Okay, so freezing, we should have water turns to ice. Okay, the next one is condensation, dew in leaves of grass. And the last is we have deposition, frost in leaves during winter. You will answer learning task 2. Okay, choose one page change and create a simple comic strip that shows and explains what happens to particles of matter. Okay, so use the rubrics provided to rate your work. Okay, so you will use bond paper or any kind of paper, and you will make a comic strip. Okay, so you will have here the rubrics for comic strip. Okay, so the category, so we have the content, creativity, format, and clarity and neatness. Okay, so study these rubrics in order to be graded your performance task. Okay, so I have here an example of illustration that shows a comic strip. So you will notice here we have the speech balloon. Okay, so for example, you will talk about sublimation, no? So you will have a conversation with another person or another character to show sublimation. Okay, so good day everyone. Okay, so happy learning and God bless.